Hello, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and today we're talking about something that comes up more often than you might think. A lot of potential claimants, right, potential plaintiffs, people who want to complain of workplace discrimination or workplace sexual harassment, um, will often say to their attorneys or the attorneys they're talking to or consulting with, whoever it is, that they are physically afraid of their employer. Now, I never would have thought that was the case. I never, like, how often, unless you're working for the mafia, right? Like, how often does this come up? More often than you would think. Like, it's really been an issue for a lot of people that have called up our firm. And I'm not obviously going to give any details because I don't want to breach any confidences. But it comes up often, a couple times a month, I would say, maybe. And the issue is, people want to know, what can I do to protect myself? Well, I mean, the first thing I'll say is generally a lot of the aggression is directed at the employment attorney for the plaintiff. So us, our firms like ours, right? In my experience, it is far more common for the attorneys to receive threats of violence, death threats, things of that nature, than it is for the claimant. Why? If I had to guess, because we're viewed as the aggressor, the tormentor, the one who's really, jabbing, getting at, attacking the employer, and that's why they come after us. I will say our firm works pretty hard to cast ourselves as the villains to kind of take the heat off our clients, right? Villains only in the employer's eyes, right? Like, I think we're doing the right thing. I think we're helping people. I don't think we're the villains in any sense, except that the employer is mad that we're hurting them and might take some money from them to make our client whole, right? So that's the first thing you can do is work with a firm that you think will work hard to take the heat off you, right? The other thing, and this is a conversation you have to have with your attorney in whatever jurisdiction you're in, you might qualify for an order of protection. And there's different kinds of orders of protection. There's stay away, there's do not harass, and there's a lot and there's different rules governing when you will or won't qualify for an order of protection in different jurisdictions. So you're going to have to speak to your attorney who's representing you. But don't be afraid to pull the trigger on an order of protection, right? I mean, it's not a perfect protection, and I'll be the first one to say that, if you're the victim of DV or something like that, an order of protection might not do you a lot of good. But it is leverage, and it is something that's scary to people who might want to commit violence, because they then think, oh, this person had an order of protection against me. If something happens to this person, well, the first person everyone's going to look at is me, right? So it's got value. It's scary for the defendant. It's scary for the people who might threaten you or want to do something to you. And it gives you leverage with the police. It gives you a better ability. When the police show up to a situation, they're going to be a lot more likely to believe you because you're the one who got the order of protection. The other person, well, I'm assuming they didn't, and there's a really good chance police are going to look at them as like a little bit of stink eye. Like, what are you up to? Why did this person have to get an order of protection against you? And what did you do that was scary enough that a judge granted it, right? That's the other thing I would say to do. And just have these conversations, right? If you're afraid, talk to your attorney about what you can do. Plans, right? I mean, these are things you can plan around. You should not let someone sexually harass you or discriminate against you in the workplace because you're afraid. Now, is it your job to be brave? No. And if you don't want to, I completely understand. But if you do want to fight back, if you do want to push back against these kind of heinous acts of discrimination and sexual harassment, I don't want you pushed out of that because you're afraid. And I think it's in part going to be your attorney's job to come up with a plan for you to feel safe. So don't shy away from those conversations. I will track the comments on this video. Certainly if people have follow-up questions, I want to answer them. I think it's very important. If this video helps you, consider liking and subscribing. It does help us to help more people just like you.